How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mega Evolutions We Need in Pokemon, which is a series where I either go through certain Pokemon from a certain generation that need to get Mega Evolutions, or where I go through certain Pokemon from certain types that need to get Megas, and show you some sick community designs along the way, and talk about Megas and what we should get with them. Either way, today we're going to take a look at the top 5 Megas that, in my opinion, should receive Mega Evolutions from Kanto. Now, do remember that these are my opinions and what Pokemon I think should get Megas. If you do not agree with me, well, then that is your problem. If you don't think my opinions are worth your while, then don't bother watching. But you can always leave your own opinions down in the comments. That is fully okay. I want to see what Pokemon do you think from Kanto should receive Megas. Now, we already have a lot of Kanto Megas, but you know, getting more is never too bad. So in the comments, leave 5 Pokemon you think should get Mega Evolutions from Kanto. Now, do remember, this is my opinion, and I guess that's all I gotta say. Do also check out the designers who made these designs in the links in the description. But now, let's get right into number 5. Number 5. So kicking off this list is going to be Butterfree Mega Evolution, which is something I wanted for a very long time. Ever since Ash got his Caterpie and then evolved it into a Metapod and eventually into Butterfree, well, ever since then it's been a Pokemon that I really do love. And the reason I want to get a Mega for this Pokemon is to increase his potential, as I feel like having a Mega Evolution for Butterfree would make it more usable and actually give it loads more new moves to actually learn. Now, to showcase kind of what I have in mind and what I think a Mega Evolution for this could look like, we have a design here by Shiny Gaza that created a pretty nifty design of a Butterfree that truly does look beautiful and quite cute, if I'm going to be honest. With this Mega Evolution, Shiny Gaza decides to essentially give Butterfree the moves Air Slash and Hurricane, which would make sense, and I feel like having an overall, increase in special attack would also be really good on top of the, base 90, stats for special attack, which would make generally Butterfree actually stronger and hence, make it more useful in overall battles. Then again, I'm not good with statistical stuff, and I do feel like you guys might have better suggestions for these sort of things, but I do think a special attack increase would be good. And not just that, I mean, overall, this design is pretty darn nice. I just love the green colors, and those freaking eyes are just adorable to look at. I mean, I can't even describe how cute this design is, and I do love that the shape of the wings actually does change, and in general terms, this is just a great design, and that's why I feel like a Mega Butterfree would be great, and I guess that's all I gotta say for this. Now let's go over to the next one. Number 4. Now, coming in next is going to be Arbok, and I have to quickly point out that this Pokemon has been sort of lost over time. I mean, how often do you actually generally mention Arbok? And that is why I feel like this Pokemon, needs to shine, and so it can do that with a Mega Evolution, and I think that could happen. Arbok has always been a sick Pokemon based essentially on a Cobra, being part of Team Rocket in the first, season of Pokemon, and of course being Jesse's first ever Pokemon, it truly has had a long story with it, and that's why I feel like, out of all the other Pokemon on this list, this is the one that's faded into obscurity the most in my opinion, and that's why I think a Mega would increase this Pokemon's general freaking, hype, if that makes any sense. Now, what would be really cool is to have this design here on the screen that is so freaking cool, and what we could do to it actually is give this Pokemon a speed and a attack stat increase, and perhaps giving it a Dragon typing that fits to this design on the screen, and new moves like Dragon Rush, Dragon Tail, and perhaps even Toxic Spikes. And I have to point out that this artwork is designed by TRXPix, who decided to make this Arbok into a Mega Evolution and turn it into black colors with a Dragon typing, which actually looks so freaking cool, man. I have to just point that out because honestly, I haven't seen a design like this in a long time. I love the color change. It does make sense. It does look really cool, and I freaking love it. And also giving it the Dragon typing is very interesting, as it is a snake, but in one way you could say it's kind of like towards a dragon line of things. I don't really know. I do feel like, maybe giving it a freaking Dragon typing wouldn't be too bad, because I mean, hey, we have a freaking Exeggutor with Dragon typing, so why wouldn't you give a snake a Dragon typing? I feel like that could make sense in one way or another. Overall, I think this design is actually beautiful. I really do appreciate TRXPix, man, for creating this. It is perfect. Let's go to the next one. Number 3. Now, coming up next is going to be the crab Pokemon, Kingler, which I honestly feel like really needs to just get a Mega to put it back on the map. This Pokemon has also really faded into obscurity, and you don't really see it much nowadays when you kind of think about it, how often you see a Kingler around. Now, Kingler has generally, had always high, but not too crazy attack stats. With the Mega, that was spiked from the general 130, which again, that is pretty high. It's pretty darn high freaking attack stat, if I'm gonna be honest. But then again, that could boost it up to 160, and I think with this design here by CD Hernley, that would put it right back on the map, man. This design shows that what an almost like old looking Kingler and larger Kingler would feel like, and I love that the designer CD Hernley decided to add more dark colors to it, which really just, I love that, honestly. It just really adds to it, and it makes it look way more like an actual Mega. It looks older, it looks more, I don't know, more badass in general, and having Kingler, just get a bit larger does make sense, as if you remember, like, Krabby and whatnot, and then it evolved into Kingler and blah blah blah, essentially gets bigger and bigger. It's a freaking crab. What is it supposed to do? Overall, I do feel like attack possibilities would be really good at this thing. Increasing the attack stats would make sense. Then again, it could make it kind of OP, but I don't really know. Again, I'm not the best with stats, so if you guys can tell me down in the comments down below, what do you think would be a good increase, in stats on this Pokemon if it got a Mega, and what, moves it could receive from having that Mega evolution? What do you think would be good for that? Then again, let me know down there. I am not best at this, so let's go over to the next one. Number 2. Now, coming in next is going to be one of my favorite Pokemon from Kanto, and it's going to be Lapras, which is a Pokemon that a lot of people want to see either receive a Mega Evolution, a Pre-Evolution, or just a normal evolution on. Now, I do feel like perhaps giving it a Mega Evolution would be the perfect thing to do, and with this design here, we would have something spectacular. I'm not even joking. This would be amazing. Having Lapras with this design by NeoZ7, we could be looking at one of the sickest Pokemon ever. I think considering this Pokemon has, generally high base HP, we could increase that even more, and more HP, and perhaps making, giving it an extra maybe increase in special defense, because honestly, having a Lapras around as a tank would not be too bad, if I'm gonna be honest. I think that could actually work. And when it comes down to design, I love that this feature actually adds a large amount of ice to this. As we know, Lapras is an ice type, and I know that, why they haven't really added anything that kind of shows those features doesn't make any sense. I do feel like having Lapras have a few more of those, ice features on it would kind of make sense, and it's kind of a missed opportunity not showcasing that it is an ice type Pokemon. So I feel like, normal Lapras doesn't even really have many features to showcase that it is an ice type. So with this design here, which if you take a look at it, honestly, this would be perfect, man. Just look at the general design. You have all these icicles on its body. Also, they changed the colors on it, and that horn on its head actually turned into, an icicle, essentially. And I love the change on the ears. They look beautiful. Overall, it's a really cool design, and I feel like this concept generally would be cool, and just seeing an actual Mega Lapras is something I've always wanted to see, because Lapras doesn't have a pre-evolution, doesn't have an evolution, so maybe a Mega would be the way to go. Overall, I feel like Lapras should not be left behind. It is a Pokemon that deserves to get attention. Either way, let's go to the next one. Number 1. Now, coming in next is going to be a choice that a lot of people will probably get really mad about, but I seriously, I'm gonna just tell you, deal with it, man. I want this Pokemon to get a Mega, but either way, the Pokemon that I want to tell you guys about, that I want to see a Mega, for from Kanto, would be Nidoking. And I know that Nidoking is overall just a strong Pokemon, but imagine having a Mega Evolution like this design right here for Nidoking. This thing was created by Fonty Art, and I could only dream about what kind of capabilities this thing would actually be able to do. Like, seriously, what could this thing be capable of? I cannot even imagine. Nidoking's base stats for attack are already high, but imagine boosting those to a higher extent and giving this bad boy a boost that he deserves. Honestly, I do feel like Mega Nidoking, I want it to happen. Then again, I know that it might not happen, as it already is a generally strong Pokemon, but I feel like just generally, man, I really want to see this happen. So I don't know why Mega Nidoking doesn't already exist. I want to see it happen. I really do hope it's going to happen. But then again, let's take a look at this design to kind of talk about it for a little moment. And I do feel like if you just take a look at the design, it kind of showcases what a Mega Nidoking would be like. Larger, having those giant little, I don't know what you would call those dagger-like looking things on its arms, and just generally having it actually on 4, on the, using the arms on the ground and kind of being, on 4. actually looks pretty nice. I do feel it looks pretty good, interesting, to be honest, and you could pretty much just kill people with that giant horn on its head, which would be pretty neat. I also do like that he changed the mouth of the actual design and makes it just look like slightly more badass. I do feel like this design in general is just superb and beautiful, and I do love it. But guys, that's going to be the end of this video. I do hope you all enjoyed. If you did, then smash the like button below, and also tell me in the comment section down below, is there a specific Pokemon you guys feel like should get a Mega Evolution? And if you don't feel like there's any that should get a Mega Evolution, then that's fine. Either way, do also check out the designers in the links in the description, because without them, this video would not be possible. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Leave a like down below, subscribe for future videos, and also leave a comment down below if you have anything important to say or anything fun to say down there. It's always appreciated. But I'll catch you trainers the next time. Bye bye.